We first met at USC. We were both in this small program at USC with about 20 students in it, and we showed up for orientation. Marilynn was about 5 minutes late. She was really cute and charming.
I actually, in that moment, had a fleeting, objective thought just fly through my mind saying, oh, that's the man you're going to marry someday. We actually had a lot of conversations about our faith because I grew up Buddhist and I was Buddhist when I met Nick. And there was kind of an understanding from the get-go that he wouldn't date me because I was not Christian. And that upset me and confused me because I thought that I was a great person and we clearly were attracted to each other, so it didn't make much sense not to date. I had been accepted to Yale, which was my dream school, and I wanted to transfer and go there. And I knew without a doubt that I would, but at the same time, my heart was very broken in leaving him. And one of the ways I thought we would continue is by long distance dating, but he told me on my last night at USC, told me that he could not date me because it broke his heart to be with someone who didn't know his God and who wasn't saved.
But I was praying for her that year, and I did believe that God was after Marilynn, and I thought it might be years and years in the future, but I just prayed for her salvation every day.
And so once I went to Yale, I pretty much immediately became depressed. And for more than one reason, because Nick had made me very sad, but also on top of that, my mom was angry at me for being in love with this man that she didn't approve of. She attacked him for being the person who had tried to convert me to this cult of Christianity, and she actually had disowned me because she said that I was no longer the daughter that she raised. Since she was my best friend growing up, I felt like I didn't have anyone to lean on anymore if I wasn't talking to Nick or my mom. I was depressed all the time. I was failing out of my classes at Yale. I was an angry, bitter person. In Buddhism, we always try to be as disconnected as possible because emotional investment causes harm and suffering. So you only feel pain if you lose something you love. So if you don't love something or someone, then you'll never suffer from sadness if they're gone. At some point, you can't just recover from something that's devastating and heartbreaking. I remembered what Nick said, if you're ever scared, cry out to Jesus. And I didn't exactly cry out to Jesus. I Googled the book of John, which was a really good start too. And I read the book of John that night, and I remember feeling this presence. I felt like there was a light in the room that I was in. And I continued to read through the New Testament because I needed that feeling of security and peace. And I had started to pray to God. I didn't really know what that looked like, but I knew that I wanted to reach out to him because he was reaching out to me. And he answered a lot of prayers that week that I had. I mean, honestly, if I didn't look up the Bible, I probably would have become suicidal because I just had nowhere to turn. I didn't know what to do. And it was a black and white moment. This was all or nothing. I'm jumping into Christianity, or what else is there? I don't know. Oblivion? I don't know. At the end of the week, I was pretty certain that God existed. I just didn't know what to do with that. I was like, well, God, you're out there. What do I do now? And by the end of the week, someone from my dorm hallway came up to my room and knocked on the door and asked if I wanted to pray to receive Christ. And he was involved in the Campus Crusade group on campus and had been praying for me, I think, and he was led by the Holy Spirit, I'm sure, and I said, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. So it didn't take years like Nick had predicted, and it actually took a year of just heartbreak, depression, and isolation, and losing everything that I knew and loved, and I met Jesus that way.
Giving up Marilynn was the hardest thing I've ever done, but he just proved how faithful he was in that he was doing something better in his power and in his timing.
We've been married almost 5 years now. It's been really awesome. I think God has blessed us with a very strong marriage, and also thrown a lot of stuff at us to deal with, but it's brought us closer together, and I think together it's double or triple anything I could do on my own. And honestly, I do feel like that brings on bigger issues, bigger problems to face, but also a bigger chance for us to work things together and to trust in God.
I think to some degree we're all searching and we're all a little uncertain. I think that's what it means to live a life of faith, is we don't have all the answers and we don't have perfect confidence. But I think God's really gracious in pursuing us, and if we are open to Him, I think He does reveal Himself to us. And as we go through life, I think our faith grows as we hear God's voice and see Him answer prayers, see Him move in other people's lives.